Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning for another news update for Thursday, October 23, 2025. And I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, no need to panic, but Melissa could be first hurricane to make landfall in Jamaica since Sandy in 2012. Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, and St. Thomas could see massive flooding. While the current expectation is that what is now Tropical Storm Melissa will remain off Jamaica's south coast when it begins to impact the island, possibly as a Category 1 hurricane this week, Principal Director at the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, Evan Thompson, has cautioned that there is a possibility it could move onto land. This would be the first tropical storm to make landfall in Jamaica since Sandy in 2012, and even Hurricane Beryl, which devastated sections of the island last year, avoided landfall as it sideswiped the country. Thompson gave the caution Wednesday while addressing a special media briefing at the Jamaica House on the government's preparations for the approaching weather system. He warned that the biggest threat to Jamaica from Melissa is that the slow-moving system is expected to dump up to 12 inches of rain on the island in a context where soil saturation has already taken place from several weeks of daily rainfall. The meteorologist said while there are several models depicting the path of the system, the latest, though, is that the consensus model is indicating that the system will continue to move closer to Jamaica, and then it will more or less move towards the west, some distance away from the southern coastline. According to Thompson, it is expected that the center of Melissa will move parallel to the southern coast, moving past Jamaica. However, he cautioned that this is the main projected track, but this doesn't necessarily mean that this is exactly where the system will go. The center of the system could move in any position, so there is still some possibility of the system actually making landfall in Jamaica, though it does not mean this will happen. Thompson said Melissa is expected to become a hurricane by Friday, but Jamaica will start feeling the impact of the system as early as Thursday evening, with sections of the country closest to the center beginning to experience tropical storm conditions at that time. He told the media briefing that while Melissa is moving towards the west over the waters south of the island, there is a good chance that this system will develop into a hurricane. That is what is expected. Thompson pointed out that rainfall associated with Melissa could persist into next week, but also cautioned that by the weekend, when Melissa should be positioned over the waters south of Jamaica, it could possibly become a major hurricane. This could bring stronger winds onshore and rainfall that will likely cover most of the island, with the eastern and the southern parishes the likely most affected. He warned the residents of eastern parishes, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, and Portland to brace for between 8 and 12 inches of rain. That is significant rainfall, and that is the main thing that we need to be mindful of at this time, said Thompson. In the meantime, Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change, Matthew Samuda, used the special media briefing to urge Jamaicans not to panic but to begin preparation, to ensure that we're in front of the misinformation cycle, which can sometimes damage preparation efforts for agencies, citizens, and communities. We will be providing information throughout the course of the storm, said Samuda. He told the media briefing that timely updates will be provided by the Met Service and that Jamaicans will benefit from his ministry's bolstered capacity, the acquisition of its own Doppler radar. Samuda noted that before the radar was acquired, Jamaica had to rely almost entirely on external sources and the support for information on major weather systems. He pointed out that as of Thursday, the Met Service will be able to provide Jamaica with updates every half an hour. Samuda also shared that the National Water Commission has engaged all its emergency protocols. This will, among other things, ensure that all hospitals and infirmaries are supplied with water throughout the storm if the country is impacted and in the immediate aftermath. In the meantime, Minister of Labor and Social Security, Colonel Charles Jr., told the media briefing that his ministry is prepared to respond to the needs of Jamaicans in the event the country is impacted. The ministry is completely activated with our readiness protocols, working across all our parish offices, working with ODPEM and across the government to make sure that shelters are identified and relief officers are on standby, said Charles Jr. He added that steps have been taken to ensure that the parish offices have been providing updated reports in terms of resources and that they and their staff are also properly resourced to ensure that we can undertake the necessary post-disaster household assessments if required. According to Charles Jr., steps have been taken to boost the ministry's communication capabilities with lessons learned from Hurricane Beryl. Additionally, contact has been made with a line of credit partners to ensure that food can be pre-positioned if required. And emergency hotlines will be circulated to ensure quick reporting of needs and any damage, etc. We are thinking, preparing, and ensuring that Jamaica is as ready as we can be, Charles Jr. said. Face-to-face school suspended on Thursday. The Ministry of Education has directed that all schools will be closed to face-to-face classes on Thursday as Jamaica prepares for the passage of Tropical Storm Melissa. It advised that all schools transition to remote learning out of an abundance of caution due to the expected effects of the storm. Where remote learning is not possible, the ministry urged the schools to prepare take-home worksheets and other at-home learning activities to ensure learning continues. It said the decision to suspend the face-to-face school was taken following consultations with the Meteorological Service of Jamaica and the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, as heavy rains and the possible flooding are expected in some areas Thursday afternoon. 9 arrested, firearms seized in major operation in St. Mary. 4 people have been taken into custody following the seizure of an illegal firearm and ammunition during a major police operation in Crooked River, Notta Bay in St. Mary on Wednesday morning. According to police reports, around 6:15 a.m., officers from the Area 2 Fugitive Apprehension Team, acting on intelligence, carried out a targeted raid at a 3-bedroom house in the Crooked River community. The operation formed a part of a wider parish crackdown led by Superintendent Anthony Wallace, the commanding officer for the St. Mary Police Division. During the search, lawmen reportedly discovered a black 6-Sawyer 9mm pistol with 1 cartridge chambered and a magazine containing 12 live rounds in a bedroom occupied by 2 residents. All 3 occupants of the premises were arrested and jointly charged with possession of a prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition. Subsequent investigations led to the arrest of a 4th man at a nearby property. He is believed to have used the weapon and was taken into custody on reasonable suspicion of possession of a prohibited weapon. In addition, police say 5 other individuals were arrested and charged with various offenses, including possession of identity information, dealing in and trafficking ganja, and the possession of an offensive weapon. The operation, which involved approximately 150 law enforcement officers, was part of an intensified effort to disrupt the criminal networks, recover illegal weapons, and strengthen public safety across the parish. Superintendent Wallace praised the coordinated effort of the joint team, commending their tactical precision and renewed a focus on targeting armed offenders. He reaffirmed the division's commitment to maintaining safety in St. Mary, stating the St. Mary Division remains resolute in its mission to make the parish safer for all law-abiding citizens. Spanish Town Mayor says no drain cleaning funds are dispersed to municipal corporations. Mayor of Spanish Town, Norman Scott, has refuted claims that the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development made recent allocations of funding to municipal corporations across Jamaica for drain cleaning. Speaking during a meeting of the St. Catherine Disaster Preparedness Committee on Wednesday, where the parish's Emergency Operations Center was activated ahead of Tropical Storm Melissa, Scott, who is also the president of the People's National Party Caucus of Councillors, said that no such disbursement has been received by the municipal corporations. As president of the PNP Caucus of Councillors, I can categorically state that no money has been forthcoming to municipal corporations, Scott declared. He explained that, based on checks with local authorities island-wide, the last tranche of funding received by municipalities dates back several months. All the municipalities that we have checked, the latest funding that they have gotten in some instances was August and others as late as July, he stated. Scott added that funds received from August were already exhausted on salary payments, leaving municipal corporations strapped for cash as they prepare for the possible impact of the approaching tropical storm. Funding for August that has already been received was used to pay salaries, so the municipal corporation is strapped for funds at this time, he said. However, Minister without a portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, told a press conference on Wednesday that he was aware the local government minister had disbursed the funds to municipal corporations for drain cleaning activities. In response, Scott said he is hoping that the September allocation for the Parochial Revenue Fund will soon be released to facilitate urgent mitigation works. We are expecting and hoping, as the minister has stated, that the Parochial Revenue Fund for September will be used for drain cleaning, so we are hoping that those funds will be sent to us very soon so that mitigation work can be done, Scott said. The mayor also called for the temporary opening of the toll plaza to allow free movement of people during the storm period in the event that the system impacts Jamaica. Meanwhile, the St. Catherine Disaster Preparedness Committee has activated its Disaster Management Center at the municipal building in Spanish Town amid growing concerns about accessibility and emergency response capabilities in some divisions. Counsel for the Mount Industry Division, Coral Davis, voiced the fears that residents in her area could be marooned if roads become impassable due to heavy rainfall. The last hurricane, we had to climb over rocks, ride a bicycle to get into the division, Davis recalled, adding that communication challenges compounded the difficulty of relief efforts. Phones do not work in the area after a hurricane, she said. Davis requested early coordination from the Ministry of Labor and the Social Security to ensure that relief personnel are able to access the area. She said she wanted a heads-up on who the Ministry of Labor will send into the division to render assistance to the residents. Concerns were also raised during the meeting about the control and reopening of the Bogwalk Gorge in the event of closure by the police, particularly regarding access to keys that determine when the corridor can be reopened. With forecasters showing various storm models that place Jamaica within the potential path of a system expected to reach hurricane strength, the chairman of the Parish Disaster Preparedness Committee, Dr. Kurt Wall, said that the team is racing to ensure emergency readiness despite the funding constraints. He said all stakeholders are in full preparedness mode. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.